Welcome to our very first video episode of The Breakdown. I'm Mike.
And I'm Austin. So we're going to be trying something a little different this time. So instead of just hearing our voices, you're actually going to see our faces. And we hope you guys like it. It's going to be a new change. We're very excited. And we hope you can give us some feedback. And here we go.
The very first topic I want us to jump into is the big news around the NBA is AD requesting a trade from the New Orleans Pelicans. It has everybody talking right now, and everybody's very anxious to see where AD's going to be playing next year.
It's a very interesting scenario going on right now. You know, Anthony Davis, bona fide superstar. You don't really see a guy of his caliber demanding a trade. At least it hasn't really been seen in the NBA in a very long time. But I do think that the Pelicans, it's in their best interest that they waited till after the trade deadline. The Boston Celtics, the New York Knicks, they can get in on this package. They can make offers. And it was a good decision by then GM Dell Demps to not make that trade with the Lakers because it just wasn't a fair trade.
I feel the reason Dell Demps didn't make trades, one, it seemed like he didn't have the power because Gail Benson seemed like Dell Demps was never the guy. So I think there was never any hope of a trade being done by the deadline. I feel like the whole point of this whole situation was that we're going to wait till the offseason because, like you said, with the lottery coming up, I mean, if the Knicks get the first overall pick, I mean,
that really changes the game.
That is a huge piece in any trade when you can say, hey, we'll give you the first overall pick. You can draft whoever you want.
Right.
And then, but you have a team like Boston who has a lot of young pieces with Tatum, Rozier, Jaylen Brown, and then you make a veteran like Al Horford, Gordon Hayward who could possibly throw in the deal. There's so many situations here. And another thing I want to talk about, the whole list thing with AD. Come on, man. A list?
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Look,
man,
they're going to trade you wherever they're going to trade you. It doesn't matter who you. If they're going to trade you, a team that offers them the best offer.
Exactly.
It ain't their problem if you re-sign with them afterwards.
Right. I mean, dude, you're under contract. You don't get to pick where you play. You were drafted by the Pelicans. You decided to sign a 5-year extension with a player option. You are a New Orleans Pelican. This is not free agency. You're not a free agent until the summer of 2020. So don't come in here, give me your list, and act like you're going to demand a trade. They're going to make the best trade for the New Orleans Pelicans and what sets them up best for the future. And that trade, to me, is the Boston Celtics. Like you said, Jason Tatum, I think he's going to be a future All-Star. You got Jaylen Brown, who I think is also going to be a future All-Star. Then you can throw in guys, like you said, like veterans, Gordon Hayward, that can help some of these other young guys like Cheick Diallo, Frank Jackson, even Jahlil Okafor, who's having like a little bit of a resurgence since AD's kind of been out and kind of playing sparingly. So, you know, you bring in veterans like that, plus the young talent, then the Boston Celtics definitely have the best package. But like you said, the New York Knicks are the X factor. If they get the number 1 pick, it's going to be hard to turn down Zion Williamson out of Duke. And then you throw in a guy like Dennis Smith Jr. and Kevin Knox. I don't know. It's going to be a nice little...
good young players.
Yes.
Like, very high potential, especially Knox. Early in the year, he kind of looked like, you know, New York was going to have another one of those guys that just didn't pan out.
Right.
It was going to be another Frank Ntilikina, who was a good defender, but considering he was drafted as a top 10 pick.
Right, he's been a disappointment.
But he's developed very nicely. I know the other night he's been seems like every time I check his stats, he's getting close to double numbers, which is what you want to see if you're a New York Knicks fan. So that if he gets traded to the Pelicans fans are going to love to see those kind of numbers. And Dennis Smith, just super freakish athletic. You kind of saw the athleticism in the dunk contest and some of his in-game dunks. I'm like,
yeah, he's a very talented kid. I don't know what happened in Dallas with him, but definitely a little change of scenery. He's playing well with the Knicks right now since being traded to them. Like you said, you throw in those young pieces, it's going to be hard to pass on Zion Williamson. I mean,
Zion's ceiling is we don't know.
You don't know. I mean, that's what
he could be better. I mean, this is a bold statement, but based on how he's built right now, I mean, he's got maybe better than LeBron type. Because you look at him
from an athletic standpoint, he's definitely he's probably the most.
If he gets a
consistent
consistent shot to go with that athleticism, oh my gosh. Watch out for them. Like NBA needs to watch out.
He's probably the most athletic player to come out of college ever.
I mean, the dude breaks his own shoes.
That was crazy.
That's how powerful he is.
That was crazy.
I mean, yeah. So I mean, the Pelicans just need to. Whoever offers you the best, just take it. Whether it's Boston, New York, don't worry about AD. AD has no say in this trade whatsoever where he wants to go.
And don't worry about the pressure put on by the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, that there with Rich Paul, LeBron James, they were trying to bully a small market team in New Orleans. It did not work. The Pelicans handled the situation perfectly, even showed a little New Orleans pettiness in there, which I absolutely love. But keep that up, Miss Gail Benson. I hope, just hopefully we can build a good winner here in New Orleans.
I think if they do the right trade, they will. But kind of moving on, you brought up the Lakers. That's another team I really want to talk to. They've been super struggling. LeBron is clearly frustrated with this team. I kind of want to get your insight. How do you feel about the entire situation, them battling to get into the playoffs?
Look, man, LeBron is the problem with this team, okay? LeBron is the problem. And yeah, I said it. This guy demanded that they see these guys get traded. He's been tampering with other players around the league. He's been threatening to have the coach fired behind the scenes, and it's just really prima donna. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this guy, look, you got Brandon Ingram, you got Lonzo Ball, you got Kyle Kuzma, all those guys that were offered in that package, they know their names in the media. So you think they're going to come to work every day ready to play for you when they know that you're trying to trade them? Absolutely not.
Like, how are they supposed to, like, play their hearts out for you knowing that you don't want them there?
Exactly, and they are playing their hearts out. You watched the game last night. LeBron James, he's out there saying
he was
that.
the one that played with the least amount of heart.
Absolutely.
Especially on defense. You saw there was a couple plays where he was just like, I'm just going to chill on this one.
Yeah, he said playoff LeBron is about to come into effect. Yeah, we'll see about that because I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, like last night there was a play where one of the Grizzlies players was wide open for three, and LeBron just was standing in the paint, just like. And then after the dude hit the three, he was like, "What are y'all doing?"
Yeah, blame his teammates. I mean,
that's your guy. And then you shot. I mean, yes, he had a triple double last night, which triple double is always impressive. But you shot 8 of 23, and you lost by 5 points. You make a few more of those shots. I mean, do the math.
Yeah.
Like, you make 3 more of those shots. That's 6 points. That's a win. I mean, LeBron's got to fit. Like, every situation is you have to, like, not in Miami. You had Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. Those are veterans. They can handle the kind of
right. They know how to play.
Scrutiny and pressure. Like, that stuff doesn't get to them. These are young kids that you have to grow and develop. They're not used to this whole situation. Before, they're not used to having a LeBron on their team of that kind of who expects to go to the finals
right. I mean,
every year.
You're looking at 23, 22, 20-year-old players. These guys are not even, I mean, they're barely out of college. Like, we're graduating college at 22, 23. These guys are just at that age. They're just like us. They're young, they're inexperienced, they're immature, they're learning how to be professionals. This is not the way to go about it. You need to be a leader. You need to show them the right way to play this game and make them better. And look, they've been better. Brandon Ingram's been better this season. So has Kyle Kuzma. Even Lonzo Ball has played a little better. But you got, from a mental standpoint, you got to show that you believe in your players and show that you want them there with you.
Right.
Those are your brothers. You're going to war with them every single night, and they got to feel wanted.
If a guy feels wanted and knows you have his back, he will be willing to do anything for you. But if a guy in the back of his mind is thinking, I mean, he doesn't really want me here. Why should I go hard for him knowing that they don't even want me here, that I'm not a part of the future?
Right.
It's kind of hard to go 100%, 110%, knowing that in the back of your head that you're probably have no part of the future of this team.
Exactly.
This season.
I mean, and dude, you look, they're not making the playoffs. You look at the standings. They got 4 or 5 teams ahead of them for the 8th seed. They're not making the playoffs. You look at the Los Angeles Clippers. Everybody thought they were going to fall out. They're not falling out. They're not going anywhere. They're playing great basketball even after the Tobias Harris trade. Look at Montrezl Harrell, who stepped up. It's been huge for them.
Yes.
You look San Antonio. Popovich coach team is not going to just fall asleep and not have a chance to make the playoffs. And then the team I like, I'm going to tell you the team I love, is the Sacramento Kings. They're young, they're hungry, they play exciting basketball, they run up and down the floor. You got De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, you have a good crop of young talent. This team is a team to watch going into the latter part of this season.
I agree. I mean, I really like the Kings too. And another name you forgot was Marvin Bagley,
yes,
who's been playing really well of late. Kind of another guy that has developed for the year and is really starting to shine a little bit. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs this year, but they are a team for the future. Because like you said, the Clippers are the 7th seed. They're playing great basketball. I mean, it's kind of hard to see them fading right now. And then the Spurs are the 8th seed. Like you said, a Coach Popovich team. It's kind of hard to say, I don't think the Spurs are not going to make it. It's just a tough situation. Now, the Kings are only 1 game back. Would I be shocked if they made the playoffs? No, I wouldn't be shocked. Like you said, all the talent they have, the way they've been playing. I mean, they played the Warriors tough. They've only lost by the Warriors by combined 5 points this season.
Right.
They play tough every night. They go to work. Like I said, De'Aaron Fox is having a great development season. Like you can see stardom written all over him. Buddy Hield is making the Kings look smart after that Boogie trade. When everybody was like, Buddy Hield? You traded DeMarcus Cousins for Buddy Hield?
Pelicans would love to have him right now.
Buddy Hield's averaging 19 points a game. He's 3-point shooting.
Oh, his 3-point shooting.
And then Marvin Bagley the other night, 22 points. He's been consistently getting over 15 points when he plays a good amount of minutes. They're a team for the future, whether it's this year, next, but they're going to be dangerous.
Like you're saying,
dangerous from here on out.
You have San Antonio, you have Sacramento, the Timberwolves. They have a lot of talent. They're an underachieving team. But like you say, you look at the Lakers' path to the playoffs. It does not look promising. This team has fallen apart since the Anthony Davis trade. And you look at their numbers since January 28th when Anthony Davis requested this trade. The Lakers are 3-7. 3-7, and they have lost. Their average losing points per game, the amount that they have lost by, is 17 points. You look at the Pelicans during that same time span, their average points per game per loss is 9, and they are 5-7 in that same span. So, which team is being affected by the Anthony Davis trade more? The Lakers or the Pelicans? Definitely the Lakers, without a shadow of a doubt. And the Lakers, everybody's saying this stuff, all this noise going around about the Pelicans being a second-class franchise. That could not be farther from the truth. Who has won a playoff series in the last 5 years? Who traded D'Angelo Russell to the Brooklyn Nets for Brook Lopez and a bag of chips? Okay?
Well, that bag of chips turned out to be Kyle Kuzma.
Is D'Angelo Russell better than Kyle Kuzma right now?
Well, I mean, yeah.
They're both 23.
D'Angelo Russell was an all-star this year.
Who would you rather have on your team, D'Angelo Russell
I
or
would
Kyle
rather have
Kuzma?
D'Angelo Russell, but I mean, a bag of chips, that's kind of a
Well, hey,
shot to
look,
the face to Kuzma.
that's how I feel about it. Because look, if they still have D'Angelo Russell on their roster, and they draft Jason Tatum with the second overall pick instead of Lonzo
I do
Ball,
agree with that they made a mistake drafting Lonzo.
right? If they make those two deals, they have Anthony Davis playing for them right now. Do you agree?
Yes.
Without a shadow of a doubt, Jason Tatum
Then you
and
could have
D'Angelo
thrown
Russell.
one of those guys in for a trade.
Right, you throw both of them in. Those two are probably two of the best young prospects in the NBA. You got Russell, already an All-Star. You got Jason Tatum, one of the most promising young players in the league, who's going to be a future All-Star. So you want to sit here and tell me that the Pelicans are a second-class franchise, and we're in turmoil. Look, I know we've had a lot of management problems. I know that for a fact, and anybody from New Orleans will tell you that. Okay, that's why we fired Dell Demps. But don't sit here and act like the Lakers are better than us just because they're Los Angeles. This is not 1988 or 2003. Kobe Bryant is not walking through that door, and neither is Magic Johnson in a Lakers uniform. I say that. So it just really makes me angry that they come up with this nonsense about the Lakers being better than these small market teams, and they're not. They have not been successful for the last 5 to 10 years.
This is very true. They haven't been very successful at all, and that's what I'm saying. Unless you're the Warriors, you don't really have room to talk. The Warriors are the standard right now for the NBA. They back up with championship wins. So until you get to that standard, I mean, you have no room to call teams second class. Like, you're not. I mean, at the moment, like I said, when Kobe was there, they were the standard.
Right.
Magic was there, standard. Now
they're trying to find.
They're trying to make the playoffs.
And they're
This
trying
is
to
not
bully.
Lakers basketball.
They're trying to bully every small market team with young talent. They're trying to bully even like the 76ers. You had the thing come out with Ben Simmons wanting to meet with Magic Johnson. I mean, come on, you're telling me that's not a little? They were saying, oh, he just wants to learn some tips about being a big man and playing point guard. No, Magic Johnson is trying to recruit Ben Simmons to come with him because you know who his free agent is? Rich Paul, LeBron's agent, and also Anthony Davis' agent. He's doing big time recruiting, and they're trying to bully these small market teams and saying, hey, we're Los Angeles. We're going to be competitive in the TV market. We have better fans, and we're better than you. And that is not true. These small market teams need to stand their foot and just stand up to them and say, hey, we're not going to do it no more. We're a first class organization too. And I think the Pelicans are doing that perfectly right now.
I agree. I think they handled the situation perfectly by not falling to bullying by the Lakers and say we're going to wait. We don't feel the pressure to make a trade right now. But kind of switching gears here, so still talking about the playoff hunt. Kind of want to talk about the East right now because you have two teams with the Bucks and Raptors that are pretty much battling for who's the best team in the East. For me personally, I think it's the Bucks because Giannis is playing out of his mind right now. In my opinion, he's the MVP. Season ended today, not James Harden. Giannis Antetokounmpo is MVP.
I agree. I think Antetokounmpo is having a great year. Look, they're number one seed in the Eastern Conference. To me, it was kind of funny at the trade deadline. You had all the big teams except for Boston, but that's because Boston is trying to set up for Anthony Davis in the summertime. But Milwaukee made a deal, Toronto made a deal, and even Philadelphia 76ers made a deal. So I mean, you got these teams trying to make deals to try to get to the finals. They're saying, look, this is our chance. We're gonna go after. We're gonna go hard for the finals. Milwaukee Bucks got Niko Mirotic. I think that was the best move out of all three of those teams. Because he adds depth to their bench. You have a scorer that can come off the bench who can average 15, 17 points a game, three-point shooting, which they need. Because you have Antetokounmpo driving to the basket, kick out to Middleton and Mirotic. They're going to be a dangerous team to play come playoff time.
I agree. I do like the 76ers team. I feel like they have a nice little small little big five. But the thing that hurts them is they don't really have a bench.
Right.
Like after the starting five, you need at least someone to come off the bench. They have some good guys, but I'm not saying their bench is, straight awful, like one of the worst in the league, but it can be better. And I think that's one of the things the 76ers in the offseason just need to address a little bit. Go find some guys you can get for cheap deals that can really help your team for the future to help win a championship. But in Boston's got young talent, but
Boston can definitely be right there. They could be right there in that hunt. Like you said, they have young talent. You have Kyrie Irving, but I think it's gonna come down to Toronto and Milwaukee.
I agree. And like I said, for me, I think it's the Bucks right now.
Yeah, me too.
The finals.
Me
this
too.
year.
Absolutely.
Still have the Warriors winning, but I mean.
But I think the Bucks can push them. I think the Bucks can push them to 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, like there's no defense for Giannis.
And who wouldn't want to see the future of the NBA and Giannis Antetokounmpo play against the undisputed Warriors in the finals?
I want to see
it
that.
sells
That'd
itself.
That'd be fun to watch.
It'd be very fun to watch.
And kind of moving on from basketball to baseball. Kind of one of the big things right now is, it seems to be the last 2 years, is you have a lot of big name guys that are getting deals late in free agency. Like Manny Machado just signed a deal this past week. I mean, back in 10 years ago, big name free agents like that, they're usually signed within the first month or two of free agency. And now right now you still have guys like Bryce Harper, who's one of the best players in the game, Craig Kimball, one of the best closers in the game, Dallas Keuchel, former Cy Young winner, still a free agent. This late in the year, we already started spring training. These guys are free agents. I mean, I just feel that's just mind blowing.
Yeah. So kind of coming off of that, do you think with this issue, do you think it's a crisis for Major League Baseball? I mean, what do you think is going on? Because this is the second year in a row. Last year you had the same thing happen with JD Martinez. You had some guys like him not get signed until late. It's been a reoccurring theme every offseason, and it's kind of hard to believe that nobody wants these guys. These guys are franchise-changing players. I mean, at least Harper and Keuchel, they can make a good team into a great team, and they can make a bad team into a good team. These guys can make teams contenders. They could be the difference in winning a World Series this year. So, what do you think is the issue? Do you think they have a crisis, and how do you think they address that?
I think owners nowadays are just so afraid to commit for so long. I don't think it's more the money. Like, I'm sure teams would be willing to do 3, 4 to 5 years, $30 million or whatever they want. It's just the committing to a guy for 10 years. And I think what it is, the big thing that's scaring is the Albert Pujols deal.
Yes.
These teams are looking at that, and when he signed that 10-year deal, which it was great for a while at the beginning, but now you're kind of seeing to the end, you're still getting solid. I mean, Albert Pujols is one of the best players of all time. He still puts up really good numbers, all things considered. But teams are realizing, do I really want to commit $30 million a year? Or in Kimball's case, maybe $15 million a year over a long period of time. Because in baseball, it's fully guaranteed. You sign that deal, you're getting that money no matter what happens. Whether you get hurt, you don't play half that contract, you get that money regardless. So I think owners are just afraid to commit for that long term. Like, I have to pay this guy X amount for 10 years.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like the money thing. There's no cap in baseball, so you really just it's coming out of the team's pocket. So the bigger market teams have more money.
Right.
So I think those bigger market teams, they're afraid to commit so much money and then be stuck in that deal. You look, like you said, Albert Pujols. You also look at the Yankees when they did the same thing they did with CC Sabathia, Alex Rodriguez, and they had Mark Teixeira, and then they brought in guys like Carlos Beltran, and those guys didn't really pan out. They brought in Matt Holliday as well. You remember that deal? I think Brian McCann was also part of that. They kind of brought him in too, and it just didn't really pan out. Then you're stuck with these deals for so long, and you can't get out of them unless you trade. But nobody's going to trade for those contracts. You're just kind of stuck with that money on the books.
Right. Right.
And I think that's what teams are afraid of. Like you said, the 10-year contracts have been the norm in baseball for so many years.
Maybe staying, now you're Manny Machado doing it.
And then Pujols, like you said, Pujols. So maybe in the future, maybe they can implement some type of deal where they can get them signed for shorter terms, and they can maybe prove yourself type deals.
Right, I agree. Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. I'm very super excited to see where Bryce ends up.
Oh yeah, I'm ready for baseball season. They got spring training coming up too, so I'm
excited. Spring training's full in effect right now, and I'm so ready for the regular season to get going.
Yeah.
They're super ready. Well, that was all for today's show. We hope you all enjoyed our very first videoed episode. Please give us feedback. We want to hear, and also if there's any possible topics you want us to talk about on any future episodes, please let us know, and we'll gladly talk about it.
Yeah, just keep giving us feedback. We love to hear it, good or bad, and we hope you enjoy future episodes, and stay tuned. Thanks, everybody.